Okay. So, yung 2 is the less number of the workers or the weavers. While 1 is, ay, hindi ako naka-share screen. Ano ba yan? Oo nga pala, nag-connecting kasi. Sorry. Okay. So, yung 2 represents the less number of the weavers or the workers, while 1 represents the less number of days. Okay, so yung 3 is the number of weavers and then yung n is the number of days. Okay, 2 is to 3 is equals to 1 over n. So for this time, ang hinahanap natin is ito naman. So same process, 3 or the product of the mean and the product of the extreme. Okay, so 3 multiplied by 1, of course, that's 3. And then 2 multiply by n, we will get 2n. Okay, so to eliminate 2, we need to divide both side by 2. Okay, yung kanina, dinivide natin siya by 1 since 1 yung kasama nitong n natin. So for this one naman, since 2 yung kasama ni n, sa 2 natin siya i-divide. Okay? So, cancel natin yung 2. Ang matitira is n. And then, 3/2 yung sagot natin. Or, in mixed fraction, it is 1 and 1/2. So, ibig sabihin po, it will take only 2 weavers. It will take 1.5 days para dun sa 2 weavers para matapos yung 6 mats. Understood? Okay. So, this 2 is an example of a direct and inverse proportion. So, the first one, ito po, this one is an example of a direct proportion. While this one is an example of an inverse proportion. So, why? Pag sinabi po nating direct proportion, yung first ratio should increase as well as the second ratio. Okay, so halimbawa, di ba for this proportion, for this ratio, kapag yung tatlong tao ay nagtrabaho ng isang araw, matatapos nila yung 6 months. Okay, so the number of days na magtatrabaho yung tatlong weavers na yon is directly proportional to the number of mats na magagawa. Okay, let's say, 'di ba, 6 mats in 1 day. So, pag nagtrabaho sila ng 3 days, syempre, mas madami din yung magagawa nilang mats. Kasi mas madami ng araw yung nagtrabaho sila para makagawa sila ng mats. So, maglilid yon sa mas maraming mats na matatapos nila. So, pag halimbawa, ginawa nating 5 days, syempre, from 3 to 5, tumaas yung number of days. As well as the number of mats na magagawa nila. Clear? Okay, so pag direct po, kailangan pareho siyang tumataas. Kung increasing yung isa, dapat increasing din po yung number ng isa. Kung decreasing naman, dapat decreasing din yung isa. Okay, so kailangan both increasing or both decreasing. Okay, so kung pataas pareho, direct proportion. Kung pababa pareho, inverse proportion. Okay, now, kung yung isa tumataas and then yung isa is bumababa, that is inverse proportion. So this one, ito po yung ating second example. The reason why it is inverse proportion, kasi di ba the number of weavers is inversely proportion to the number of days. Okay, halimbawa, dalawa lang or habang kumukonti yung magtatrabaho or gagawa ng maths, nag-i-increase naman yung number of days na matatapos niya yung the same number of maths na supposed to be matatapos lang sana in a day. Diba? 6 maths yung kailangan nilang magawa sa loob ng isang araw. Pero since nabawasan yung number of weavers, yung number of days naman is nadagdagan. Did you get it? The number of weavers decreases while the number of days that they can finish the same pieces of mats increases. Okay, so the number of weavers that will work is inversely proportional to the number of mats they can finish. Okay, kasi 'di ba instead of 1 day lang naging 1.5. So nadagdagan. Nadagdagan yung araw or oras. Okay. Paano pag isang tao na lang yung gagawa? Of course, pwedeng maging 2 araw na 'yon or higit pa. Okay, depende. So that is the concept of direct and inverse proportion. Okay? Ba't hindi ito na natanggal? Okay. Let us take a look at problems that involves direct and inverse proportion. So we have 2 problems here. Problem number 1. A carpenter can finish 3 tables in 5 days. How many days will it take him to finish 12 tables? So for this one, the type of proportion for problem number 1, it is a direct proportion. So, ang reason, as the number of days increases, the number of work increases. Okay? So, halimbawa po, ang sabi, yung carpenter, kaya niyang makatapos ng 3 tables in 5 days. Okay? So, syempre, kung yung 3 tables, 5 days, pag tinaasan natin yung table or number of tables, syempre, tataas din po yung number of days na kailangan niyang i-google or spent to finish the 12 tables. Okay, so as the number of tables increases, the number of days to be spent or the number of working days will increase as well. Okay, so that one is direct proportion. For number 2 problem, 6 street sweepers can finish cleaning the entire community in 4 hours. Okay? In how many hours can 8 street sweepers can do the same job? Okay? So, yung 6 street sweeper, yung mga nakikita nating nagwawalis sa labas, naglilinis ng ating community. 6 street sweepers, kaya nilang linisin yung ating entire community in 4 hours. So, kung dadagdagan natin yung 6 sweepers, gagawin nating 8. How many hours kaya can finish or can clean the entire community? Okay. So, do you think na kapag nagdagdag tayo ng tao or ng street sweepers, madadagdagan din ba yung number of hours or mababawasan? Very good. So, pag nagdagdag tayo ng tao, yeah. Okay, so the proportion for this one will be 6 street sweepers is to 4 hours. While 8 street sweepers and then N dito. Okay, so we have to multiply 4 by 8, that is our mean, and then 6 to N. Okay? So, this one is an example of inverse proportion. Since, kapag tumaas yung number ng street sweepers, bababa yung number of hours na kailangan nila para malinis the entire community. Okay, so if you are going to answer of your, or if you are asked to find out how many hours will it take the 8 street sweepers can do the same job, you have to compute. Okay? So 4 times 8, that is 32. Okay, so we will have 32 and then 6 times n will be 6n. So for what number we will divide it? Ano number gagamitin natin? For what number are we going to use to divide 32 and 6n? May grade 5? Nandyan pa ba kayo? Hello? Okay. Anong sabi ko? Ang gagamitin natin na number para i-divide siya is yung number na kasama nung n. Ano po yung number na kasama ni n? I'm sorry? 6. 6 po. Ano? 6. Okay, so cancel natin si 6. 32. 32 divided by 6 is equals to 5 and 2, 6 or 5 and 1/3. Okay, so yung 32 over 6 po, pag ginawa po natin siyang mixed fraction, that will give us 5 and 2 over 6 or 5 and 1/3. So, instead of, ay sorry, mali ako ng partner. Sorry, grade 5 ah. This one is my fault. Mali ako na napag-partner. So, this one should be the less number of street sweeper. We have 6. And then, the less number of hours. Mali. Ito yung pinakang number of street sweepers. So, 4 siya. And then, yung number ng street sweepers ay 8 and then n. Okay, so pag susulat natin siya, 6 is to 8 is equals to 4 is to n. Sorry ha. Okay, so 8 times 4, same lang pala. Baliktad ako. This one should be the n, and then 8 is equals to. Okay. This is the less number of the street sweeper. Ito, mas madami. Di ba yung kanina, less to less, more to more. So, less number of street sweeper, more number of street sweeper. Less number of hours, and then more number of hours. Okay? Ah, 6 over 8 is equals to n over 4. Or 6 is to 8. Mean and extreme. 8 and 24. Okay, divide both side by 8. N is equals to 3. Okay, so the number of hours it will take 8 street sweepers is 3 hours. Okay, explain ko to ha, medyo naguluhan ako dito. Dito po, this is the less number of, ito yung example natin kanina ha. This is the less number of the weavers. This one is the less number of days. Okay, this is the more numbers of weavers. Okay? So, more numbers of days. Okay, less to less, more to more. Yun po dapat ang magka-partner pag inverse proportion. Remember that, ha? Okay, let's study the following example. State the type of proportion. Number 1, it took 5 students 15 minutes to arrange the books in the library shelves. How many minutes will it take 10 students to arrange the same books? Do you think this one is a direct or an inverse? Aya, what do you think? Direct or inverse? For problem number 1, you just need to state if the problem is a direct or inverse proportion. You just need to state what type of proportion. Problem number 1. How do you say so? What is the reason? So, ang sabi dito, five students, kaya daw ayusin yung books sa library shelves in 15 minutes. So, how many minutes will it take kung 10 students yung mag-a-arrange? So, instead of 5, nadagdagan siya into 10 students. So, sa tingin mo, yung minuto na gagawin ng 10 students yung pag-aayos ng books, matataasan ba or madadagdagan ba or mababawasan? Madadagdagan ba? Mas tatagal ba yung pag-aayos nila kung madadagdagan sila? Okay, so kung no, is it direct or inverse? So, 'di ba yung number of students is nadagdagan. So, sabi mo no. Ibig sabihin, hindi tataas or madadagdagan yung number of minutes. Hindi tatagal. So, ibig sabihin, yung number of minutes is bumaba instead of tumaas. So, yung number of students tumaas, number of minutes bumaba. So, ano pong klase ng proportion pag ganon? Okay, inverse. Very good. Okay? So, since yung isa tumaas and then yung isa is bumaba, that is inverse. Siyempre, pag mas madaming estudyante yung nagtulong-tulong to arrange the books at the library shelves, mas mabilis nila siyang magagawa. So, instead of 15 minutes, siguro matatapos nila yon for like 7 minutes or 8 maybe. Okay? So, problem number 2. If 2 dishwashers can finish washing dishes in 3 hours, how many dishwashers can do the same task in 30 minutes? Okay, so dito pa lang nakita natin yung number of hours, yung time is bumaba. So instead of 3 hours, 30 minutes lang gagawin. Yung kasing dami din nung mga plato na huhugasan ng dishwasher. So, para matapos siya ng mabilis, ng 30 minutes, ilan yung dishwashers na kailangan? So, do you think kailangan magbawas or magdagdag? Nicole. Yun daw pong, for problem number 2, if the 2 dishwashers can finish washing dishes in 3 hours, how many dishwashers can do the same task in 30 minutes? Okay? By analyzing the problem, do you think it is an inverse or direct proportion? Why do you say so? Ano po? Direct and inverse. Okay, so bakit po siya naging inverse? Ba't po siya naging inverse? Oh. Kung yung 2 dishwashers kaya siyang tapusin in 3 hours, ilang dishwashers daw yung kailangan to finish the same task in 30 minutes lang? Isang tao lang yung kailangan? Um, don't mind the number of dishwashers. We are just stating the type of proportion kung ano siya. Kasi ang kailangan mo lang naman is you have to analyze it na kung sasagutan mo siya sa tingin mo yung number of dishwashers ba ay tataas or bababa. And then yung number of hours, 'di ba, from 3 hours bumaba siya into 30 minutes. So yung isa is bumaba. Yung number of dishwashers na kailangan, sa tingin mo bababa or tataas? We don't need the exact number of dishwashers ha. Kailangan lang nating alamin kung bababa siya or tataas. Tataas. Okay, so yung number of hours is bababa while the number of dishwashers is tataas. So pag ganun po, anong type of proportion yon? Direct and inverse. Pag direct po, parehong tumataas or parehong bumababa. Pag inverse, yung isa tumataas, yung isa bumababa. Okay, inverse. How about number 3, Maurice? Do you think it is a direct or inverse? Maurice? Where's Maurice? Wala si Maurice. Kaya pala yun. Okay, si ano na lang. Gem. Number 4, Gem. Ay, sorry, number 3. A bus can travel a distance of 45 kilometers in 3 hours. So, pag daw nagbiyahe yung bus ng 3 hours, 45 kilometers yung maaabot niya or mararating niya. How long will it take to travel 3 times the distance? So, instead of 45 kilometers times 3. Okay, so ilan yon? 135 kilometers. Okay, gaano katagal kaya tatakbuhin nung bus yon? Okay, ang question natin dito ay ano lang ha? Kung anong type of proportion. So sa tingin mo, pagdadagdagan ba yung number of kilometers na tatakbuhin or kailangan takbuhin? Madadagdagan ba yung oras or mababawasan? So what type of proportion is that? Ano, sorry? Na-disconnect siya? Okay, so who wants to answer? Liam. Who's that? Portia? Is that Portia? Sino po yung sasagot? Okay, Portia. Okay. So, pag tumaas yung number of kilometers na kailangan takbuhin, tataas din yung number of hours. Okay? So, tatagal din yung pagbabiyahe. Okay, very good, Portia. How about number 4, Liam? What type of proportion is our problem number 4? A camp has provisions for 180 campers for 15 days. How long will the provisions last if only 120 join the camping? Direct and inverse. Direct. Okay, paano mo nasabing direct? Pareho siyang nag-decrease. Okay, so pag mas mababa po yung number of campers, mas mababa din yung number of days. Okay, so I am going to explain to you